Welcome to tonight's live training. Apologies for being a little bit late. Megan Taslam here in Thyroid Healthy Balance. The reason why I'm late is because I was just about to accidentally go live into my personal profile and then I realized the blip. That would have been funny. Anyway, I'm here now. So if you're coming on in here tonight, I'm absolutely grateful and glad to be here to answer any questions, because tonight we are going to break down gluten-free, because as we speak, there's many of you, like me, and many other people in the world that believe that going gluten-free is going to help their thyroid. Now, this is not necessarily the case, and I'm going to break it down. Now, there's still research to be done. I am going to talk about one clinical trial that has been done, a very small trial, but it gives us a bit of an inkling about what's going on, which was done last year in 2024. Okay, so very, very new evidence. So if you're coming on in here, please listen up and ask questions along the way. Certainly if you're coming in on the replay, do a hashtag replay. Ask your questions. I will circle back and come to them. Let me just open up this so that I can get the chat on my phone. I can never see it on here. Just give me one moment. Thyroid Healthy Balance. Yep, here we go. And I am live here. All right, beautiful. Okay, alrighty. Okay, so tonight we are talking about gluten-free and still sick, the hidden truth about gluten-free and your thyroid. I feel like I don't have to stand here and say, go gluten-free, go gluten-free. It has become one of those fashions that, like if you've got an autoimmune condition, certainly you go gluten-free. But, just like with everything, and I talk about this with so many things, especially when it comes to food, not everything is good for every single body, okay? All right, and certainly for the population, like what's happened in the food industry, gluten-free has become such a big fad that we've got like aisles in the supermarket that are dedicated to gluten-free, and they're all a load of rubbish in there. Lab foods, E numbers, fillers, thickness, goodness knows what. Sometimes the ingredients list on the gluten-free product is so incredibly long. And if you've got ingredients on the gluten-free product that is more than 5, just put it down. Maybe 6, depending on what's in there. And if there's some whole food ingredients, I'm talking, you might want to consider a few more if there's like different, I don't know, nuts or seeds or whatever, things like that. However, like doesn't necessarily mean that it's healthy, because I feel like gluten-free diets per se are done wrong. All right. If we had 4 slices of wheat bread per day historically, and then you're diagnosed with Hashimoto's, you think, oh, I better go gluten-free because you've been told by, I don't know, Google. Then if you're just swapping out the 4 slices of wheat bread for 4 slices of shop-bought gluten-free bread, and then, whenever there's a birthday party or whenever you're wanting a treat, you're just swapping out the cake or the pastry for the gluten-free alternative, well, you'll probably notice, if you haven't already, that gluten-free, like processed products, are extremely sweet, because in the food industry, they're really clever. They've worked out that, if they can't, they use either fat or sugar to basically get you coming back to buy more. So if they can't mimic a wheat product for you to come and buy, they will up the sugar or they will up the fat so that you've kind of got that creaminess or that sweet hit for you to come back and buy more, all while thinking that choosing that gluten-free product is not causing you any harm. Couldn't be further from the truth. Now, I've got more to say than just that. So stay tuned. If you're already across that and you already know and you go, yep, I'm gluten-free, but I adopt a whole food diet, and you think, oh, you're already across that, and you think, okay, I don't need to watch this live. stay on because there is a lot more for me to say. All right. Now, here's the thing. If you are adopting a whole food diet, you know, is your diet actually plugging the gaps in your nutritional profile to help bring your health up to where it needs to be for you to recover from the Hashimoto's or from the hypothyroid? You know, so is your diet giving you enough selenium, zinc, iodine, magnesium? I'm talking about diet, not supplements, because we know that, well, the way I practice a food first philosophy, and all of my clients understand that, and some of them are on a truckload of supplements. So if you're on a truckload of supplements and you're watching here tonight and you're working under me, just know it's very short-lived. You know, in the scheme of your life, it's very short-lived. We need a bridge to get you from A to B. And when we get you know, the matrix of your minerals where they need to be, that's where food can follow through very beautifully. And all while we're doing that, we're actually digging deeper and working on the diet. Why? Because they are the foundational pillars, they are the foundational layers, which is actually going to bring you into remission and bring you through to longevity. Okay? Supplements won't do that, but whole foods will. Okay, so let's go back to gluten-free. If you're just swapping out the wheat for a gluten-free alternative, I urge you to become familiar with that product. Research it. It might be causing more inflammation in your body than the wheat counterpart, especially if you are having a really good organic sourdough. Now, I'm not telling you all to swap over from the gluten-free product to the wheat organic sourdough. I'm not saying that. However, there is something to be said for food that is sourced really well and organic, and you know the practices are all there and all the boxes are ticked, compared to food that has been made in a lab from really poor quality ingredients. Like I'm talking like bleached flours, you know, Mackenzie gluten-free flour, you know, Mackenzie, you know the little box that you get if you're in Australia, the little box with Mackenzie written on it that's in your typical flours aisle, you know, that's probably not the best type of ingredient to go for. And then we've got all the other products as well. Okay, now I promised some research, so I'm going to, you know, get into that. I'm going to get into that. It is true that there have been 2 clinical trials done to date that have proven that a gluten-free diet lowers the TPO, and so which is thyroperoxidase, and your thyroglobulin autoantibodies. And also another trial, separate trial, has proven to lower the TSH, which is your thyroid stimulating hormone. Okay. Now, these are 2 studies that were done on populations that had Hashimoto's, however, didn't have any other gluten-related autoimmune disease, such as celiac. Because let's be fair, most of the studies that have identified that a gluten-free diet can bring down autoantibodies, these are people, the demographic of people that also have celiac disease. So there's only been 2 independent studies. That's good, right? Brings down TPO autoantibodies, brings down your thyroglobulin autoantibodies. Fantastic. Brings down your TSH. Fantastic. But what else is going on? What else is percolating underneath? And these are 2, it's just 2 studies. Like they weren't gold standard, you know, like 2 studies. So it's limited data. Now, this recent study, basically the title of you can search this yourself. You just go to PubMed and you can search this. Gluten-free diet alters the gut microbiome in women with autoimmune thyroiditis, 2024. Okay. Now, the clinical trial was done on a subset of 31 people, so 31 women. They were all on a gluten-free diet. And after 4 weeks, this group of people was split into, it was placebo controlled. So they were split. So we had one group that had gluten tablets, like gluten capsules, and the other group had white potato starch capsules. Okay, so it was split. So either group didn't know what they were having. All right, so it was a double-blind trial. Anyway, after the period of time, which was 6 months, no, sorry, 8 weeks, I beg your pardon, 8 weeks, they found that the TPO autoantibodies did decrease, which is fantastic, which is great. However, the bacteria, let's just blanket them as not so great bacteria in the gut increased, whereas let's say the good bacteria, like I'm talking like your bifidobacteria, your actinobacteroides, these types of bacteria decreased. And this is just over 8 weeks. And yes, it's a small trial. It's only 31. Right. So I'm not going to say, oh, that's gold standard, the other ones aren't. It's just evidence, like it's just a call to action that we really need so much more from the scientific community to bring in further research and bring in like a meta-analysis and a gold standard level of clinical trials so that we can actually get to the bottom of this. But I've had a sneaky suspicion about this for a long time because, seeing all the gluten-free products and seeing the wave of communities just go and flock to gluten-free products, it has been a huge worry to me because I know what these ingredients are in those products and they're inflammatory. And Hashimoto's and Graves' disease are inflammatory autoimmune conditions. So then there's like a little bit of an oxymoron there because, well, hang on a minute, but then there's some evidence that it brings down your thyroid autoantibodies. Then there's some now new evidence saying that actually alters your microbiome, but in a negative way, not in a positive way. So what does that tell me? What it tells me is exactly what I'm going to tell you now. So what it tells me is we can't just rely on one dietary intervention and just have that linear mindset that, oh, we've done this, so X plus Y equals Z. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work, ladies and gentlemen. There's a few men in this group. It just doesn't work. So what our body thrives on, what our body truly needs is a strong foundation of health rooted in like a naturopathic conscious living framework, utilizing whole food ingredients and good quality cooking and food preparation practices. We need to bring back the old school, basically. We need to drop this, I'm too busy, I'll just go grab this. Or I'm too busy, I'll just go and grab that. We need to drop that mentality. There needs to be a huge shift in the way we think, in the way we prepare food for ourselves and for our families. Because there's no shortcuts and there's no quick fixes. And if you're, swapping out your gluten products for gluten-free products, thinking that that's enough, I'm just going to tell you it's not. It's not enough, and it may actually be doing you a disservice. Now, I'm not saying that good quality home-baked, like gluten-free bread as an example, is bad. I'm not saying that. However, what I will say is if you've adopted some beautiful practices where you're making your own gluten-free bread, you're sourcing from organic ingredients, and you've created a ritual where you're doing that each week, and many of my clients do that actually. I've done many cooking immersion classes where I showcase how to make gluten-free bread. However, if you're still just swapping that out and using it as a filler, like the wheat counterpart, like, what shuts up the hunger? Bread does. That's why I call it shut up food. Like wheat on bread, it's just shut up food because it just shuts up the hunger. Does it really give us the goods? It doesn't. And then when you think about it, if you've got some, like potato starch, if you've got some almond meal, if you've got some brown rice flour, you might have some xanthan gum. These are typical ingredients that I will put in a gluten-free bread. I typically will put in some hemp meal or some other things as well, some different nuts and seeds, just to try and get as many goods in there. But we need to be also mindful that many of these foods that are ground down from the raw ingredient into a flour harbor lectins or oxalates, which are inflammatory. So if you're having that as a staple day in, day out, you may actually be causing more harm than good. So even though, yes, you might be bringing down the autoantibodies, you might be disturbing your gut microbiome, which is then causing inflammation in your body through a different channel. So what do? We don't rely on the gluten-free products. We adopt a whole food first philosophy. How close to nature is this food? How far has the apple dropped from the tree? That's what we adopt. And we really delve into that space to draw in some really strong foundations. And then, of course, I need to just bring this element in because it's so incredibly important and so true. For you as an individual person on this planet, you're going to have a unique blueprint within your body, within your microbiome, your immune system, everything. So, I talk about it in pretty much every life training. I do believe fundamentally that there needs to be some functional testing so that you can actually figure out and know what's going on in your body. Like one of my clients who had eggs every single day and felt great on them. However, when we did some testing, it showed that there's actually high inflammation that's coming from that because it's an autoantibody reaction. Sorry, an immunoglobulin reaction, I beg your pardon, with that. So should there not be testing done for that person, they would not have known. Does that mean that they cannot eat eggs ever? No, it just means for now, because there's something going on, there's cross-reactivity going on. So we need to really clean it up. So getting back to the topic, gluten-free. Tell me, what questions do you have about gluten-free? I'm not talking about this on this live tonight for you to say or think, okay, I better go and just have my wheat again, or it's not going to work. I'm not saying that at all. I'm really not. There's something to be said for the proportions of what makes up and creates your plate. How much is this? How much is that? How many polyphenols have we got in there? What foods are rich in selenium, iodine, zinc, magnesium, iron, and all the other minerals, alpha lipoic acid, inositol, that help our body do the jobs that it needs to do. There could be some gut healing that needs to happen that's going to really, really help you to get you over this hurdle with what's going on with you right now. And then in time, yes, maybe you could explore some, wholesome gluten-free products which have a small percentage in your diet. I'm talking like 20%, not 80% or not 50% even. So, and for many of you, this could be overwhelming information. And I'm here for you. I'm here for you. My team is here for you. Because, we happen to be great cooks. Leanne, and Shell, and myself, we're great cooks. And we're always creating recipes. I'm always creating recipes. And, I have about, I don't know, 70 or 80 recipes so far in my ebook. There hasn't been a lot of action in there lately because I've been pretty busy this year. However, one of my dreams is to write a thyroid wellness cookbook, which has a lot of information. And, I'm hoping that that will be done by the end of this year, just to really help humanity, to help people like yourself that are struggling and being told, to go gluten-free but aren't actually getting well. You're still sick. You still got bloated symptoms. You still have inflammation. You may have even had a recent flare. There could be any number of things going on for you. So, we're here to help. So if you're wanting to have a conversation, hey, Cora, it's my cat meowing at the window. If you're wanting to have a conversation, just reach out. Just say gluten-free diet, and we can have a chat about what's going on for you to help you shift through from where you are now. Because what is really needed is a holistic approach. We need to look at all angles, diet, and even looking at your diet and drilling down in your diet. That is still one pillar. We've got 4 pillars to thyroid wellness. That's why it is such an elusive dis-ease or disorder or, thing that's going on in our body. I was talking to a lady the other day who has recently, she actually hasn't been diagnosed with hypothyroidism or Hashimoto's, but she has very high TPO autoantibodies. And straight away she was like, okay, I must have Hashimoto's. I've really got to go and fix my thyroid. I'm like, okay, no. Yes, we know that's going on there, but let's just park that. There are so many other things that are most likely triggering that autoantibody, and your thyroid right now is still stabilized. It will be the last domino to fall. But right now, we need to stabilize your blood sugar because it is through the roof. You have insulin resistance. We need to get some insulin sensitivity going on here. We need to heal your gut and get your bowel working properly. And we need to bring down that high sensitive CRP, which is highlighting systemic inflammation, which is most likely pushing up that thyroid autoantibody. So when there's a thyroid condition newly diagnosed or autoantibodies newly diagnosed, we look at the foundational layers and those areas that are actually causing the inflammation to bring that down. We don't dabble in the thyroid. No. We actually build strong foundations and bring the systemic inflammation down. And guess what? That will most likely drop then. Okay, if you're wanting to hear more about my approach, just type Megan's approach and let's get to the bottom of your health picture. I'm here for a health movement. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here for life, right? I'm going to be in this space for life. If you're in this group now, this group is not going to just fizzle out and die. It's only going to get stronger as I bring more information to the fore, bring more research to you folk, and help more clients. Because the fact that Hashimoto's is on the rise is not okay. And that's my mission. My mission is to bring whole health and wellness for people like you suffering from autoimmune thyroid, hypothyroidism, to bring that into remission and live a long, healthy, abundant life. That's my mission. That is our mission here at Team the Thyroid Naturopath. All right, that's it from me. Have a beautiful week ahead. Please reach out if you have any questions, and let's get to the bottom of your health picture and help you shift forward. All right, bye for now. And if you haven't seen it already, I actually brought on my beautiful team before we did a little intro. So go check that out. Meet Leanne, meet Shell, and see the names behind Team the Thyroid Naturopath.